evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Wednesday, January 10, 2024. I am Jemima Holmes. Thank you for joining us. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Guyana facing 9 human rights complaints before international bodies, but many are misinterpreted, says TEIXEIRA. Government rubbishes claims that Venezuelans getting Guyanese citizenship to vote at 2025 polls. To address rising need for justice, Judiciary launches 7-year strategic plan. Over 1,000 acres of millet under cultivation at TACAMA, and police urged to aggressively pursue suspension of licenses for reckless drivers. Now for the news in detail. There are currently 9 human rights complaints filed by local organizations against the Guyana government to international bodies. Vanu Manikchan joins us to report the filing of these reports over the past 3 years, according to the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration, is more a representation of the confidence these organizations have in the reporting system rather than a human right violation.
Between 1999 to 2015, only 4 complaints were filed against Guyana at the various international human rights bodies, while none was filed from 2015 to 2020. However, there were 9 such human rights violations filed against the current government from 2020 to date. During her ministry's year-in review press briefing for 2023, Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Minister TEIXEIRA explained on Wednesday that these 9 petitions filed are reflective of the confidence the local entities have in the complaint mechanism in place.
From 2020 to now, we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 petitions submitted to the Inter-American Commission for Human Rights and the UN CERT by various NGOs in Guyana. I take this as a reflection of the confidence of those organizations to feel that they can have a complaints mechanism that they can report to, and our obligations as a member state is to respond and to present our case to those bodies. So I expect there will be more of that that will come from various NGOs, and that we have to address as a government.
While she expects more complaints to be filed by local organizations, the minister noted that many of these petitions are misrepresentations of the facts in the country.
Our main issue is to make sure that we are abiding by the requirements in terms of a response. So these have all the petitions we received, we have responded, all. In some cases, it's a misrepresentation, but also in terms of making sure that we present our cases as best as we can. It doesn't mean that we will win, but it does relate to the importance that we must respond, and respond the best way we can with factual information, with evidence, with videos, with recordings, with photographs, hard data to show that what we're saying is correct.
According to Minister TEIXEIRA, the process to respond to these complaints is a tedious one that is being done with limited staff at her ministry. On this note, she urged these local organizations to make use of the domestic complaints mechanisms before moving to the international bodies.
I would hope that the NGOs here would use more the domestic remedies that are available, that they would use the service commissions, the human rights commissions, PSAT, for example, even in terms of bodies like the Auditor General's Office, to bring matters, PPC, for example, to bring issues to those bodies.
Among the local organizations that have filed complaints against the Guyana government are the Guyana Press Association, the International Decade for People of African Descent Guyana, and the Amerindian People's Association. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchan.
Vanu Manikchan joins us again to report that Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Minister TEIXEIRA has rubbished claims that the Guyana government is giving citizenship to scores of Venezuelan migrants in order to gain political strength at the upcoming 2025 general and regional elections. Here is more.
The issue that people are getting citizenship for election purposes. Now, that was a great leap of faith by the person who was saying all of that. To move from registering people to citizenship to then being on the election list and 2025. That's quite a leap of mental faith. You know, mental gymnastics, I would call it. I wouldn't call it intellectual.
That was Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Minister TEIXEIRA at her ministry's closing press conference for 2023 on Wednesday, while speaking about migrants from Venezuela. In response to claims by the opposition, the minister explicitly outlined the process of gaining citizenship in Guyana.
You cannot become a citizen of Guyana unless you have had 5 years, consecutive years living in Guyana. Right? Secondly, if you marry a Guyanese, there's no rapid door for citizenship. Right? And so that issue, so when you become a citizen, yes, you can go on the voters list. But our law also allows for Commonwealth citizens who are not citizens of Guyana, who are living in Guyana for 1 year, can go on our voters list. So any Commonwealth country, and of course Venezuela is not a Commonwealth country, nor is Cuba, nor is Brazil, but any Commonwealth citizen who is legally in Guyana with 1 year can vote in our elections. No one seems to find that as a problem, and it isn't a problem. But I'm just saying how we can't be discriminatory on who we feel comfortable with voting and those we don't feel voting.
TEIXEIRA went on to point out that government has taken an empathetic approach towards those fleeing Venezuela, as she reminded that there are many Guyanese-born citizens returning or those with Guyanese parentage coming here. There are approximately 30,000 migrants from Venezuela in Guyana, a quarter of whom are said to be Guyanese or from Guyanese lineage. The minister noted that government's priority is more focused on ensuring those who come here are registered.
We have been less concerned about deporting people and more concerned about knowing who's here. Who is here, what are they doing here, etc. And so that's how we get the data, because in many cases in the interior, people will cross over the river or cross over between the trees and they're now in Guyana. So, and they come all the way down. Some of them end up somehow on Mazruni River and take the boats out to Bartica or out to Georgetown. So we have to find mechanisms of making sure they report to an immigration point or police station to get their certificate, their registration form.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manik-Chand.
Ahead of plans to plant huge corn and soya crops at the TACAMA mega farm on the Berbice River for the May-June season, as much as 1,300 acres of millet are currently under cultivation at the location. Gerald Bryan reports.
On Tuesday, President Dr. Irfaan shared on his social media page that 1,300 acres of millet are currently being cultivated at TACAMA on the Berbice River. The cultivation of the millet is an important part of the government's plan to achieve food security and slash CARICOM's food import bill by 25% by 2025. Since the millet was planted late last year, it is expected that harvesting will occur well within the 2024 first quarter. Speaking to this newscast, Assistant Managing Director of Bounty Farm, David Fernandes, explained why millet and not corn and soya was planted at this time.
Now it takes about 60 days to harvest it. And because it's a short crop, it doesn't need much rain. That's why we couldn't plant soybean. We had to plant something that was a little more resilient and didn't need as much water. We didn't. Remember, we ended up in this El Nino situation where we did probably the driest Christmas in Georgetown that we've ever had in a long time. You know, so that is basically we try to enhance the soil at the same time as you could harvest that product and use it in the feed as a substitute for the corn or rice.
However, Fernandes is sure that corn and soy will eventually be planted and further explain their intentions for the current crop of millet when it is harvested.
We will harvest the grain when it is ready and use it in stock feed. We're using it as a ground cover, as a fertilizer bank to stop soil erosion, because remember we'd have a lot of land prepared for the big crop that we planted in May, June this year.
President Ali had announced last year that Guyana would be conducting test trials of millet in at least 3 regions with technical assistance from India. Jarrell O'Brien, The Evening News.
Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai has announced that government will this year continue to aggressively execute the Amerindian land titling project with the pursuance of 22 extensions and 3 first-time titles. Trishelle Sobers tells us more.
In addition to the 25 land titles to be disbursed this year, the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs will also conduct 39 demarcations in indigenous communities. The exercise, which will be executed during the first half of 2024, aims to help the ministry clear its substantial backlog in the approval and distribution of Amerindian land titles. This was disclosed on Tuesday by Subject Minister Pauline Sukai during her ministry's end-of-year press conference. Sukai explained to media operatives that clearing the backlog will allow the ministry to process and approve more new land titles.
In the last 3 years, we've moved to reestablish a functioning unit that is taking seriously the titling of lands for Amerindians. And last year we titled 6, I'm told. Where's my paper? It's, I think 6, I don't see the pieces here now, but we did 6. And it 25,677 Amerindian residents across our country basically are much more land secure. Our application comes in, but it's not necessarily that we just sign off on it. We have to go down to the ground, we have to hold consultations with various stakeholders, with various national institutions, commissions, and we have to compile a report, create with findings and recommendations that will then be examined at a technical level.
In 2023, villages such as 4 Miles Region 1, Paramakatoy Region 8, Kupuyi Extension, Mashabo Extension, Akawaini and Wakapau in Region 2 received land titles. The Amerindian land titling process is being facilitated by the Amerindian Act of 2006 under the guidance of the Government of Guyana and the United Nations Development Fund. The project seeks to enable Amerindians to secure their lands and natural resources with a view towards a sustainable social and economic development. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Coming up, motorcyclist dies in Demerara Harbor Bridge accident, and Prosperity FPSO transitions to background flaring within just 39 days. Do stay with us. More news ahead.
To tell you about my mom and how I lost her, it was a very hard reality for me.
I met Crystal through a friend who asked me to speak to her. The first time I saw her, my spirit just took a liking to her. I see Crystal as my daughter. I haven't given birth to Crystal, but I feel as if I do.
I felt alone. I got the support I needed from her.
I understand that Crystal was a lesbian. I choose to accept and embrace and love everybody. I'm a Christian and I believe we are all God's children. God loves everyone.
It's about time we all get educated enough to know that, you know what, everybody is just the same human.
She never questioned it. She just supported me right through it.
So I see her as a young woman full of potential.
Crystal and every gay and lesbian person should be treated with respect in Guyana.
GCOM is currently conducting a claims and objections exercise to produce an official list of electors, OLE. Anyone who will be 18 years or over by December 31, 2023 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more is eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted a preliminary list of electors, PLE, at popular locations in all the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether your particulars or that of other electors are accurate. You can object to anyone who you believe does not qualify for inclusion in the OLE. To do so, you must be listed in the same divisional list as the person you are objecting to. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to make an objection. The objections aspect of this exercise will end on Monday, the 22nd of January 2024. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gu.
Transitions Light Intelligent Lenses. Pick your color. Choose your style. Available at Optique Vision Care.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A motorcyclist has died in an accident that occurred at around 12 hours 55 today along the Demerara Harbor Bridge. The victim has been identified as Premdad Govinda of Bell Street, Port Drawing, West Bank, Demerara. According to a statement from the management of the Demerara Harbor Bridge Corporation, the rider was proceeding west along the bridge when the accident occurred. The statement added that no other person or vehicle was involved in the incident. Trishelle Sobers joins us now to report that the Guyana Police Force is being urged to utilize powers under the law to embark on an aggressive campaign aimed at suspending the licenses of drivers and motor vehicles that continue to operate recklessly on the country's roadways.
During the televised program, Road Safety and You, Public Relations Officer for Region 6, Leon Ferrier, disclosed that even with the frequent execution of roadblock exercises, the Guyana Police Force has recorded an increase in speeding along new road networks, intersections, and roundabouts. It is for this reason he believes keeping license within police custody in conjunction with other procedures will aid in promoting safe driving.
The police force got to be more rigid in their campaigns. They ought to be more aggressive, sir, in terms of enforcement. And I'm agreed with Sergeant Payne when he said, take away your license, pull you off the road, ground you, and those who are found guilty and sentenced must be attending counseling and road safety school or classes.
Amendments were made to the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Act as well as the Intoxicating Liquor Licensing Amendment Bill to toughen up the penalties for drunk drivers and the bars that serve them. Among other things, the legislative changes make causing the death of someone through drunk driving a case of vehicular manslaughter. The penalty for driving while over the alcohol limit was changed from a $7,500 fine to now $200,000, and a sentence from 12 months to 24 months. Additionally, the penalty for driving under the influence and losing control of your vehicle has been increased from $30,000 to $60,000 fine and 12 months imprisonment to now $200,000 fine for first-time offenders and $300,000 for second-time offenders. It also provides a 12-month suspension of license for persons convicted of DUI offenses. Drunk drivers can also face permanent revocation of their license. Ferrier, who applauds the efforts government have been making to update and amend legislation to suit the modern world, called for them to be better enforced.
This must be a collaborative effort that involves the judiciary system, the Ministry of Home Affairs, where the Guyana Police Force falls under, and Guyana National Road Safety Council. I want to emphasize likewise, yes, the fines must be there to hinder would be errand drivers, right? That they're able with it, being able to pay that. And bearing in mind, sir, I want to say this finally, that to the gravity of the carelessness, motor manslaughter can be deemed a felony. It's a crime.
Trishelle Silvers, Evening News.
The Prosperity Floating Production, Storage and Offloading Vessel, which is producing oil in ExxonMobil's third project offshore Guyana, has been able to transition to background flaring within just 39 days of its startup ahead of schedule. Details in this Gerald Bryan report.
When oil giant ExxonMobil was granted its environmental permit for the Parara project, a 60-day target had been outlined to transition to background flaring. It turns out that ExxonMobil has since been able to achieve background flaring on this project within just 39 days of its November 14 startup, well within that 60-day target. In a statement, the U.S. oil major explained that the Parara project was able to eliminate routine flaring by using gas to power the Prosperity FPSO vessel. Additionally, it was explained that the rest of the gas is being re-injected into the reservoir to improve oil recovery and reduce emissions. The statement also quoted ExxonMobil Guyana President Alistair Routledge, who said that they used lessons learned from previous projects to accelerate the transition in Parara. Currently, the combined Parara and Liza Phase 1 and 2 projects are producing over 550,000 barrels of oil per day. Additionally, these projects are expected to reach over 600,000 barrels per day later this year, with the Parara project itself reaching 220,000 barrels in the 2024 first quarter. Since 2021, Guyana has received billions of dollars in flaring fines from ExxonMobil following changes to their permit. The fines originally started at US $30 per ton, but were then increased to US $45 per ton. Flaring is a process which sees excess gas being burnt, releasing harmful chemicals into the air. While startup flaring is allowed under the permit, transitioning to background flaring is limited to a 60-day window. Gerald Bryan, The Evening News.
The judiciary must adapt to meet the growing demand for justice, Justice Yonette Cummings Edwards, Chancellor of the Judiciary Acting, stated on Tuesday. She made this remark while addressing the opening of the law year 2024 and the launch of the Supreme Court of Judicature's Strategic Plan 2024-2031. Find out more in this Trishelle Silvers report.
Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonette Cummings Edwards, noted that the judiciary's theme is pursuing service excellence by investing in technology, management systems, and human resources in order to keep up with the demand of justice. In this regard, the number of magistrates and commissioners of title land court judges has increased in order to guarantee improved access to justice. The Judicial Service Commission is currently conducting interviews to fill various posts, including judges, magistrates, and land court judges. The JSC is a constitutional body tasked with managing matters pertaining to the appointment, discipline, removal, and promotion of judicial officers.
The Judicial Service Commission was established in July of last year. So we are deeply grateful to His Excellency and the Executive for having that body in being. Full-time work for 5 members of the Commission to tackle the backlog and the staff matters began in earnest, as it is obvious that after an absence of the Commission, there would have been lots of outstanding work. The members have been working assiduously to build the Secretariat and to create positions for the better functioning of the judiciary. As the Attorney General mentioned, and as you know too, there was widespread advertisement for many vacant positions, and both the Judicial Service Commission and the Public Service Commission have advertised for posts and job interviews for the Supreme Court, because we do have that system where some of our members straddle both commission, both the Judicial Service Commission as well as the Public Service Commission. Thank you. And we're pleased to say that after advertisements, the next step have been interviews, and interviews have been conducted. Interviews for the positions of magistrates, Interviews are going on again in this month, and you'll soon see appointments to various positions. The Commission has increased the complements of magistrates to discharge the business of the court and for the expeditious disposal and to relieve congestions in the courts. You know only too well that about 90% of our matters in the criminal justice system commence in the magistrates court, and there is at times congestion in those courts. So we now welcome the posts of Deputy Chief Magistrate, 4 additional positions of Principal Magistrate, with 1 Principal Magistrate being in each district. Georgetown will be having 2 Principal Magistrates, 4 additional positions of Senior Magistrate, and 10 additional positions of Magistrates. 2 additional positions of Commissioners of Title, and Attorney General, you'll be happy to know that a Commissioner of Title will be placed in Berbice shortly, and 1 also will be placed in Essequibo.
Meanwhile, a new magisterial district will be created along the east bank of the Parara, where courts will be constructed at Timeri, Friendship, and Providence. This new magisterial district will be in addition to the 8 others.
To better serve the needs of the people, we have also started work on the East Bank corridor, which currently falls under the Georgetown Magistrate Court or the Georgetown Magisterial District, to create a separate magisterial district for the East Bank.
Moreover, more specialized courts including mental health and family and domestic violence courts will be added to the magistracy. Magistrates will also be sitting full-time to do the courier's inquest because there has been a huge backlog according to the Chancellor. Moreover, the physical expansion of the Court of Appeal will be completed this year to accommodate the increased number of judges. The bill to increase the number of judges of appeal to at least 9 was passed last April in the National Assembly. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
A feasibility study for the local law school is close to completion as the government continues to interface with the Council of Legal Education to get the ball rolling on the project, which will revolutionize legal education in Guyana and the Caribbean. Let's find out more from Jarrell Bryan.
During his end-of-year press conference on Monday, Attorney General INT'L revealed that work is wrapping up on the feasibility study for a local law school. This very study will be submitted to the Council of Legal Education when completed. INT'L noted, however, that he had been hopeful it could have been completed last year. According to INT'L, the delay can be attributed to some data the government has to acquire for the study.
I agree with you that there has been a hold-up, and that delay is largely attributable to the fact that we have not gotten from the Council of Legal Education's law schools information that we have requested and that are required to do the feasibility study. Only last week, I dispatched a letter to the chairperson of the Council of Legal Education informing her that we have requested this information, we need this information, and unfortunately, the information has not been supplied from the sources, by the sources to which we have requested them, from which we have requested them. And I requested her intervention as chairperson.
Be that as it may, INT'L noted that preliminary approval for the law school has already been granted.
The approval for the law school has essentially been given preliminarily, but we have to satisfy certain criteria and participate in a process before that decision is crystallized. And that is the process that we are participating in. I believe the Council has reached the position that there are going to be additional law schools and that one will be located in Guyana. So, but we have to go through a process.
And he further explained that establishing the law school goes hand in hand with the government's efforts to make Guyana an education hub.
The initiative to create, or rather to establish a law school within the geographic space of Guyana is not an isolated one, as it goes hand in hand with government's endeavors to secure offshore universities and training centers here in Guyana in various endeavors and various educational pursuits as well. So it's only part of our government's vision to create an offshore educational center on these shores.
Land on the University of Guyana's Turkine campus has already been secured for the local law school. Every year, only Guyana's top 25 law students are able to attend the Hugh Wooden Law School in Trinidad, leaving behind over a dozen students. Additionally, the high costs associated with studying law in Trinidad usually cause some of the students selected to drop out. Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbor Bridge is expected to be closed to vehicular traffic on Thursday, January 11, 2024, at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed to vehicular traffic on Thursday, January 11, 2024, at 16 hours 20 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Football community helps young goalie realize dreams, and the perfect plan. Manetola's coach discusses win over Slingers FC. Details of these stories and more in the Sportcast, sponsored by MACORP, coming up on the other side of the break.
Yeah, ready? We are so far. Look along, me tell you, buy one generator. Now the picnic online test and blackout come and cut off everything. Sorry, son. Radhika, have you go tomorrow? Have you go now?
At Sylvie's, we stock products from more than 22 different sectors in mining, construction, food processing, vulcanizing, home improvements, and more.
Are you getting generator?
So this is a 3000 better star generator. This will work for your lights, your fan, your TV, and your fridge.
Well, Abby can buy one for Abby and Abby can buy one for Mommy too.
Yeah, and Mommy could even key start it, cause all you have to do is hook up the battery and
visit us today at 31 High in Hatfield Street, where our friendly and knowledgeable team members are willing to assist you. You can also call us on 227-6243 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 and shop via our website at www.sylviesonline.com.
I'll be going to buy one doll pulling mill,
one plucking machine, one pressure washing machine, one juice dispenser, one engine, one pepper grinding machine, one water pump, one sugar cane juicer, circle sir. We gotta get alright, then food warmer. We gotta get. What are you looking at?
Superbet, your best bet. Bet as you enjoy your life matches today. Place your live bets at www.superbet.gy on any of your favorite matches and watch your winnings grow. Must be 18 years and older. Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
It's a new day with Shilling Oil.
A unique blend of natural oils to help ease and soothe the day-to-day discomforts of life. Get relief from muscle and joint pain, headaches, and congestion. Shilling Oil lets you get back to the things you love doing most. Water relief with Shilling Oil. Distributed by Massey Distribution.